Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And in today's episode, I'm going to show you everything that's needed for a 500 horsepower system on a Starion. So, let's dive into it. All right, so we're going to do 8AN feed line. We got the fuel filter. We have 8AN fittings over here, including clamps to run it down the car. And this should definitely make for an easy 500 horsepower setup. So we're going to begin with dropping the tank. Okay, so you take loose the 10 millimeter there, 10 there, and 1 there. Takes off the cover. And next, I'm already noticing a speaker wire. I don't know, this thing is pretty thin. I don't know what this is going to, but that's not good. So yeah, so we're gonna see where that wire runs, but before we do, we have to take loose this hose here, this hose here. This is original, a little dry rotted, so we're gonna go ahead and upgrade that. And we're gonna take loose the 10 millimeters that hold it to the tank, which is 1, 2, and 3. And then that should break it loose, at least for the neck and everything like that. Then we can start taking loose the bolts that hold up the tank, which is 14 millimeters here all the way around. So that's what we're gonna do. So let me get a light on the situation, and we're gonna start with taking loose these 2 hoses and then taking loose the actual bracket that bolts to the tank, and we should be good to go. Okay, so in the middle of getting this tank down, which definitely is from a different car. As you can tell, it's green, car is red. I'm sure rust was the culprit, which is very common for these cars. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so I chased the wire down, and it seems like it goes to some LED entertainment. So we're gonna see if we can get that wire out of the way. As you can see, the rust is really taking mayhem on this poor car, but hopefully inside the tank is not that bad. Now we have another thing to look at. So that aside, we're gonna take loose this clamp right here and then disconnect the wire here, and we should be able to take the tank down and start looking everything over. Okay, very rusty, but I noticed the pump is inside the car, so we're gonna have to pull that down and cross our fingers. Hopefully this cap will come off, because it's very rusted on the top, but on the inside looks pretty much brand new, so that's good. But I just don't want these rusty bolts to snap off. That's like my biggest concern, because then it's gonna take a separate set of time to get it loose. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of the 8AN, run it down the car, and yeah, make sure everything fits properly before we cut that. And we're only gonna do the feed. We're gonna give a shot on the stock return line and take it from there. So yeah, we should be good. But now what I want to do is pull out the pump, which just seems to be over here somewhere. So I'm gonna pop the trunk and see where that thing is at, and we'll take it. All right, so there's the fuel pump. Not the worst project I've ever seen, but definitely interesting. Yeah, this is coming out. Looks like we got ground right there. Aftermarket pump. Yep, all of this has to come out. So, yeah, we'll take the 10s out. Yeah, it looks like that's hard mounted, so I will take all of that out. Okay, so as you can see, no fuel came out of here, but the tank is wet over here. So I have reason to believe that this tank is leaking. And with that being said, we cannot use this tank for any performance upgrades because obviously it's leaking. Worst thing you'd want to happen is to catch fire. We need a new tank. Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a demonstration. I'm gonna clean all of this stuff off so you can see it. Alrighty. I think that should be good enough. So if we tilt the tank backwards like that, see it's dripping without anything coming from here. It's a bad tank. Then when we stand it up like that, it doesn't leak. So this was supposed to be a fuel pump and all of those goodies on the upgrade, but looks like we're gonna have to pause it here. This was unexpected. And yeah, source out a new tank. And we'll pick back up as soon as we get one and take it from there. And with that being said, we're gonna call it an episode right there. Wow, I did not expect that tank to be bad, but you know, given the circumstances, that is definitely a possibility. So, you know, definitely be careful, check your gas tanks, and hopefully if you don't see any pitting and corrosion, you should be good to go. But yeah, so I guess we gotta wait for a gas tank on that one. But until then, guys, remember, knowledge is power, and I will see you guys next time.